Okay, guys, so lesson 3.1, first lesson of the unit 3. All right, so we're going to get into connect ratios, rates, and unit rates. Now, I'm going to show you what each one of those is so you make sure you have an example. So, when we're talking about ratios, ratios is any kind of comparison between two numbers. Usually, what we see those in and what you're going to see them in today are fractions. Fractions are ratios. Remember, anything that can be put into a ratio, a little bit of review, is also a rational number. Rates are anything, for instance, like we have right here in this problem. Now, this is off example 3, okay, guys? This is example 3. Okay, so what we're talking about here is these sinks, the kitchen sink and the bathroom sink are both dripping, and they want to know which one is dripping the fastest. And so when they tell you that in 10 seconds it's running zero point 0.5 gallons, I guess that's more than a drip, isn't it? That is a rate. Okay, that is a rate. In other words, half a gallon every 10 seconds. Okay, so that is a rate. We get to unit rates if we can say how much is in 1 second. Okay, so in other words, if the bottom number is 1, then we know that's a unit rate. Now, the way we figure this out is this way, okay, guys? We start it this way. We say, okay, what are we looking for? What two things are we comparing? In this one, it was gallons and seconds. And we think about it by saying it's gallons per second. Gallons per second. I put that in a fraction just like I say it, gallons per second. Probably the most familiar one you've had is miles per hour. I would ask that you start putting it like this, miles per hour. It puts it into fraction form, into a ratio, so then you know what to divide. Okay, so that will help you out. So that's why that's written up there, gallons per second. And then I want you to realize that it's always y over x. This helps you to organize it into a function table. That's what this is. I organized my information into a function table. So this is my kitchen sink. I have x and y. I already established that y is the gallons, so I'm going to put gallons here, and then I'm going to x is my seconds. This is because gallons, in other words, the amount of gallons that run through this faucet depends on the amount of seconds that we have it on. Your y is always going to be dependent on x. Okay, guys? So what I did was I put into the function table what I needed and what they gave me. They told me with the kitchen sink, it was a half a gallon every 10 seconds. I'm going to find the unit rate. In other words, I'm going to find out how many gallons per 1 second. But then they tell me which faucet is going to do it the fastest in 3 seconds. Or I'm sorry, to get to 3 gallons. Which one will go faster to 3 gallons? In the bathroom sink, they said 18 seconds, you're going to do 3/4 of a gallon. Okay, if it runs for 18 seconds. I also need to find the unit rate, so I put 1 second here, and then I go through and I put 3 gallons here because they want to know which one goes fastest to 3 gallons. So you're going to see me come off and look at my notes to be able to do these. So here's the way I figure this out. The nice thing is I already figured out gallons per second, and that is y over x. So in order to find out my unit rate here, I simply go 0 and 5, in other words, a half a gallon, over 10. Okay, 10 seconds. Then I divide these, right? Okay. If I divide this, then I'm going to get 0. Is it 0. Why am I having that? Yeah, it's 0.05 gallons per second. Okay. Now, what that does is it gives me a unit rate. From that point on, I can figure out however much I need for this 3. So in other words, I divide this, right? Every fraction is a division problem. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to multiply. Okay, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go, it's 0.05 gallons per second, right? And I want to know what it would do to equal 3 gallons. Okay, so in other words, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 3 by the 0.05. and I would find that I need to multiply it by 60. In other words, I divide it and then multiply by 60. That means in order to keep this ratio even, I multiply this by 60, okay, and I realize that it takes 60 seconds to fill a gallon, 3 gallons, okay? 60 seconds to fill 3 gallons. Now, to do the next one, I do it the same way. I go through, I do y over x, in other words, 0 and 75 hundredths over 18. I'm going to divide that, and that's going to equal, now this is interesting because it ends up with a repeating decimal, 0.416 repeating, okay? So in other words, under a half a gallon, right? Okay. So what we're looking at here, did I do that wrong? Nope, that's right. Okay, so what we're looking at here is we have, I'm going to check that math real quick because this seems a little off. So let me check it real quick. So on the calculator, we get, that's what it is. Okay, so this is where it pays to use common sense, okay, guys? So I had it written down wrong, and I thought this is way too off. It's actually 0.0416 repeating, because I was looking and these didn't even look close. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I'm talking about when you use a calculator, when you're writing things down, when you're looking and reevaluating stuff, use some common sense, okay? So that's what this equals. Okay, so then I can go through and build a ratio table again. Okay, so in other words, if this is 0.0416, right, in 1 second, that's how many gallons in 1 second, what does it take to equal 3 gallons? Now, here's the point. I'm going to figure this out, but you should know already this is faster than this. If this is faster than this, then the kitchen sink is going to fill it up quicker. You see what I mean? Just by doing the unit rate, we're able to know that the kitchen sink is going to do 3 gallons quicker. Now, when I do it this way, I'm going to go through and I'm going to estimate it. Well, I'm not going to estimate it. Sorry. I'm going to round it because we have a repeating decimal. I'm going to round it. And I could actually even round it. It wouldn't be very accurate, but I could round it to just that and still know which goes quicker. I didn't round it that much when I did the multiplication, but it did turn out to be 72. Okay, guys? In other words, when I went through, what I would do is multiply it by 5. Okay, so in other words, we go through and I end up with 72 seconds for 3 minutes. Okay, or for 3 gallons. So you divide the 3 by the 4/10. So let me do that real quick so you can see the equation. And this equals 75. So it's going to be a little bit different because I rounded it even more. So this equals 75, right? That means I would multiply this by 75 and I would get 75 seconds. Okay? So that's what we're looking at. So the point is, guys, though, just based on the unit rate, we should have known which ones goes faster and which one's going to get to 3 gallons faster. But if we wanted to actually find out the amount of time it would do 3 gallons, this is going to be more exact at 60. This is going to be more of an estimate at 75. Okay, guys? Okay, so just to nail this home, I'm going to do one more problem, and hopefully this is coming out clear enough. Okay, so this is quiz number 2. Quiz question number 2. Okay, so in this one, what they were saying is they were saying that they had a choice to go to the science exhibit or the zoo. Okay, and they wanted to know how much money would you save going from one or the other. Okay, and they gave us two different ones. They said for 3 tickets it would cost $36.75. For 4 tickets it would cost $51. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to find the unit rate. Okay, how much is it per ticket, and then we can simply multiply it by 12 or multiply it by 12 here. The way we find that is we should realize that it's dollars per ticket, and it is still y over x, so dollars per ticket. That means that dollars is going to be y because it's the dependent variable, and then it's dependent on the amount of tickets. In other words, the amount of money you'll spend depending on how many tickets that you buy. So I put x and y, tickets and dollars, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 36.75 and I'm going to divide it by 3. When we divide that by 3, we found that each ticket was $12.25. $12.25. Okay, then all I have to do is take that $12.25 and multiply it by 12. Okay, and so that way we would find out that to go to the Science Museum would be, for 12 students, $147. Okay, so that's how much we're looking at here. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to take the 51 and I'm going to divide it by 4. And what that ended up equaling is $12.75. Then we take that $12.75, we multiply it by 12, and we found that it would cost them $153. Now, the quiz question is actually asking us how much money would they save going to the science exhibit over the zoo. So we'd actually have to go through and take the 153, subtract the 147, and find out that we save $6. Okay, guys, make a little bit more sense. So the function tables, guys, are so that we can go through and organize the information, but you're going to find that also it's for that you can go through, so that you can go through and graph these. These would become actual graphs. You've heard the saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. You can take a lot of data here, be able to put it into a graph, and if you did a presentation for someone like a business meeting, then you'd be able to show them the incline or decline or the erratic movement of the data. Okay, and that would give them an idea whether things are consistent or not, or if you are going positive or negative. Okay, guys? So hopefully that's clear enough. Obviously, just like any time else, if there's something you don't understand, make sure you ask questions. And that's it for 3.1.